Hey everyone, here is Andrea, and in this video I'm going to show you how to customize your subplots, more precisely how to change their size, or I mean the size of the individual subplots that you have in just one Matplotlib figure. And I mean this is something that could come really handy if you're displaying multiple subplots at the same time and you just want to have them with different sizes, because some of them could be more important than the others. So as you will see, it's something really easy, and but it's not that, I would say it's not that really common. So it's just about knowing the right method to use, and it's really straightforward. So I think we could just dive into the code and see what it looks like. So the first thing that we have to do is, just as usual, to import the libraries that we're going to use for this example. In particular, we're going to use just Matplotlib. So I'm importing Matplotlib dot pyplot as plt, and we will just use this library because we're just going to plot some subplots and to change some of their properties, but it's it's all. What we have to do, like when we want to create a plot, the first thing that we have to do is to create the plotting window, the Matplotlib plotting window, which is in Python it's usually called a figure. And to create a figure, we have a specific method, Matplotlib method, that is called figure. So I'll just write a comment. So let's say creating the plotting window, and I'll call it fig. So fig will be equal to plt.figure, and that's it. Usually it does not need any other specific property, but this time, since we're creating multiple subplots, there's actually a property that could come really handy, and it's called constrained layout, and it's a boolean, and it could be false or true. Usually it's false as a default, and we would just want to put it as equal to true. And what basically does, it basically adjusts the size and the position of all the subplots that we're going to instantiate in order to have them really homogeneously spread in the plotting window without superimposition and so on, but we will see how it looks like later. So now we just created the plotting window, as you can see if I run the code. Yeah, this is just what we created. So an empty figure, and here we will create our subplots. So to create the subplots, there are different strategies for creating the subplots. Personally, I use, and one of the most widely used, and because it's really easy and fast, I would say, is to use the method subplots. So it's just, let's say creating the subplots with subplots. Okay, and what we have to do is basically to create some axes. So ax equal to fig dot subplots, and we have just to specify how many subplots we want, or how do we want to subdivide or to spread in the figure our subplots. let's just, I mean, if I want to create like 9 subplots and I want them to be divided in a 3 times 3 grid-like fashion, I'll just make 3 rows and 3 columns. And this is the ending result. I'm basically just done. As you can see, I just have 3 times 3, so total of 9 subplots. And here I had constraint layout equal to true. Let's try to put it equal to false just to show you how it looks like now. As you can see, they're not really well spread in whole the plotting window, and if it was like this, they are superimposed. Let's see when it's equal to true how it looks like. I mean, as you can see, they are just adjusting depending on the size of the plotting window, and if I enlarge the plotting window, they are enlarged in order to occupy all the space or all the available space. So it's always good if you are plotting multiple subplots to have constraint layout equal to true, especially if there are a lot. So this is like the basic procedure that you have to take, or I mean that you can take for creating multiple subplots, because it's really easy. There's another strategy to create multiple subplots, but it's more tedious and time consuming, and it's another method, and it's called add grid spec. So creating, I can just copy paste from here. Creating those subplots with add grid spec. This is the other method, so I'm just commenting this because I don't need it anymore. And this method is a little bit different. I'll just instantiate the axis ax equal to fig.add grid spec, and I have to specify again the size, so 3,3, and if I run the code now, I'm not creating any subplots, because this method is just used for creating, for let's say virtually subdividing this figure into a 3 times 3 grid. Then what we have to do is to enter manually each subplot, sorry. So suppose we want to create the same outcome that we had for subplots. What we have to do will be something like this: ax1, because it's another subplot. We have to use another method which is called add subplots, and we have to pass like input parameter the axis where we are going to create them, which is ax, and then we pass like the coordinate of this plot, and with the coordinate I mean like the initial point and the ending point in terms of rows and columns. So let's say the one on the upper left corner will be 0, 0, and then I can also enter a title just to make you understand better what I'm creating and where I'm creating it. So title, and as a title I will just type the coordinates like 0, 0. Perfect. And I mean the bad thing of this method is that I have to repeat it manually for all of the plots. So first row, second column, like this, first row, third column, perfect. Second row, first column, second row, second column, second row, third column. Okay, so we're done with the second row. Now we have third row, first column, third row, second column, again. Yeah, as you can see, it's really boring and also time consuming. Okay, let's see if I did it all right. Yep, here's the result, which is the same that we got for subplots, but you can see how many. I mean, well, first, as you can see in the title, I just specified as input parameters of the add subplot method the axis and the index of this location, let's say, because x, when you do like this, you basically instantiate x as an array with all these, I mean, as a 3x3 array. No, sorry, a two-dimensional array. So you have to specify like the row and the column, and the thing that you get is this. So I passed just the first row and the first column, like this one is the second row and the second column, or I don't know, this one is the third row, so number 2, and the first column, which is number 0. But yeah, it's quite a lot of lines, and especially if you, this was just 9 subplots, it could happen that in some application you will have quite a lot of subplots. And I mean, my suggestion would be, if you just want to have like subplots of the same size, just stick with the subplot method, which is really faster and more efficient. The advantage of using add_gridspec comes into play when you want to change actually the size of these subplots, because if you use like subplots, you do not have any property to enter to this method in order to change the size of the subplots. Well, if you use this method, so add_gridspec, it actually allows you changing the size of the subplots, and now we will see how to do that. So as you saw, I just entered the initial coordinate of the rows and of the columns. But instead of making just one coordinate, so an indexing, I could just use like a slicing procedure to specify like the starting position of the plot and also the ending position. So for example, just let me just show you how it would be if we wanted to be, if we wanted like, I mean, let me just plot it again. Suppose we want like the whole space occupied by a plot that is occupying this space, so the first row and the first 2 columns. Then suppose we want another plot that starts at the 3rd column and it goes down for the whole height of the figure, and then another plot that is on this side, so this 2x2 plot. So just 3 subplots with different size. So to do that, we just have to tune this core and to change these coordinates. And we do that, as I told you, with exploiting slicing. So if you don't remember how to properly use slicing, you just have to, I mean, yeah, for doing this, you should be really good at slicing. Otherwise, it won't really work well. So as I told you, we want a plot that is going on the first row and it's occupying the first and the second column. So the first row is already specified in here. The column, this is just the first one. if I wanted to occupy the first and the second one, I'll just type this and 2. This means that it goes from 0 to the second column, and this is not included, because you have to remember that when you slice or you're indexing lists, the last number is not included. So I'll just change also the title. Perfect. Then I told you that I want a plot that is occupying the third column, and it's 8. It's the whole figure 8. So what I have to do is to change the rows actually. So I wanted to span from the first row till the end, and I can do it like in this method, in this way here, and then I want the last column, which can be indexed as -1. Perfect. And I can just also change the title, -1. Perfect. And then I want the third plot that is going, it's a 2 times 2 plot, and it's starting at the second row and occupying the first and the second column and the second and the third row. So I told you that it's starting at the second row until the end, so until the third row, and it's going from the first column till the last one. I mean, not including the last one. So it's like this, and here it's 1 column. Perfect. We should be fine now. I could just take away all these. Let's see how it gets. Perfect. As you can see, we just obtained 3 plots with different sizes just by using a normal slicing procedure that we usually use for Python lists. Yeah, so I think that was it. It's really, as you saw, it's really easy. Just keep in mind that basically if you're interested in making different subplots with the same size, just stick with the subplot method, because it's really faster and easier, because it just does all automatically. Well, if you're interested in changing the sizes of your subplots or tuning their position and so on, just go with the grid spec, and yeah, you can just change the size and the position of the different subplots by using the slicing methods, which is not that difficult. I mean, it's just to remember how it works with the comma, the column, sorry, or the -1 and so on. There are just few basic rules that you have to keep in mind, and they are also useful when you're operating with lists and other like NumPy arrays and so on. So I think for this topic it's all that I have to told you. I hope you liked the video, and yeah, see you in another one. Bye bye.